It's episode 68
Yes, sir.
of the Wait for It Seattle podcast. This is your Mariners playoff edition podcast. Your Seahawks are on a 2-game win streak podcast. And I had hope after the first half of the Husky game against Ohio State podcast. So that's a little preview of what's to come.
I feel like
Obviously,
you should only lead with one, and that's
yeah.
last week at this time we were excited and not even cautiously optimistic. We were really optimistic, right? The magic number was 2.
Yeah.
But we were worried, could they hold on? All this stuff. They go out, the Mariners we're talking about right now. They go out and sweep the Rockies. Another great performance by Kev, number 68, George Joseph Kirby. That's who this episode is named for. Yeah.
There you go. A high number for a pitcher. It was kind of crazy that they had back-to-back nights where they did the champagne thing. They clinched something different. So many funny questions. Like, did they use the same goggles as the night before? Were the players going to be hungover for the second game? They weren't at all. They were
ready to roll.
Scorching.
Everybody said it was like a 50 to 60% celebration on the first night. So
yeah, and it was just so cool to watch the Root Sports podcast, the Root Sports telecast. They just kept on, covering and just talking, and it was just what I needed as a Mariners fan. Like, what's better than a win? It's talking about the win over and over again and how special the team was and what they pulled off and what it all means. And any reaction from those 2 games?
I think you hit something cool. Root Sports did a great job, and it's kind of poetic because Root Sports is now gone. So the Mariners announced that MLB will be taking over production of. We kind of knew this was happening, but it kind of seems like the Brad Adam, Angie Mentick, Jen Mueller might all not be back. It's not official. Jen Mueller said she's not after 19 years, which is kind of a crazy run. That's a long time. So Root Sports did a great job on their broadcast. Like you said, they went to the Munoz entrance music. They didn't go to commercial. And then they also stayed afterwards. Part of me now is like, oh, it's because they didn't have to pay any bills. Like, everybody's gone as of a month from now, and they don't care anymore.
There's no what's the point of ads? And actually, I loved it. Could you imagine if you could just pay to just have no commercials ever?
That's interesting.
Even if you have MLB TV or YouTube TV, you're still getting hit with commercials, right?
Yep.
Like, how cool is it just to have the in between, even if there's no sound?
Yeah, it's true.
You feel like you're at the game.
Yep. So that was one reaction. The other reaction was the back-to-back nights was awesome. I wasn't able to watch all of the games for various reasons, like teacher stuff at night, parent stuff. But I watched the end of both games, which was really cool. So driving home from teacher curriculum night where I'm presenting and I'm walking around my kids' classes also, which is a different experience. Naylor hits the double, and I'm just driving in my car, losing my mind, yelling in my car, which is a fun experience. And then got home and watched the end of that game.
Before you move on to the second game, I just want to say on the first game, I forgot who was being interviewed. I think it was Raleigh, actually. It makes sense. It was Raleigh because he hit the 2 home runs that night. But he basically said, how awesome is it that the guys that we acquired at the deadline, made the difference in this game?
Yep.
And
he wanted it. They wanted
awesome.
It. Bryce Miller's in the locker room talking about, we got to bring Naylor back next year. There's lots of cool stuff for sure. It was awesome. I don't even remember that. I think the next night was a bigger victory, if I remember right. And, but having the Astros lose, both nights were cool. The Yankees came back against the White Sox, then the Mariners came back against the Rockies. It's like, we're in. And then,
it's just the second night too. A couple of things when I was watching the telecast. John Stanton's a pretty old dude, and they interviewed him in the locker room, and some random Mariners employee pours the champagne over him, and I think he was like kind of panicking because
Yeah.
he like immediately put on his goggles. He was kind of shaking. I was like, oh my god, this could be bad. Like, please don't get it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Also, like, I mean, no matter how much the fan base has disliked him or whatever, uh I was like, kind of you get anxious for
Yeah.
bad things not to happen. I was
Yeah.
like, this guy's kind of old. Like, don't mess with him too much.
I'm glad you were feeling for him. I mean, on that same vein, like, yeah, people were giving just endless crap to Dipoto. I sent you an amazing string of tweets that I'm going to pull up right now because Mitch Levy, formerly of Seattle
Yeah.
Sports Talk Radio, has his own podcast. This is on April 1st. Dipoto said, he quoted, "I think there's the reality of our offense and the perception of our offense. We feel like our offense doesn't get enough credit for the things they do well." And they were hitting like 166 as a team. Granted, this is like 4 games into the season.
Do you have the lineup in front of you?
Yeah. Robles, Julio, Cal, Randy. Good 4. Then it goes Raleigh at first, Tellez, Bliss at second, Mastroboni at third, Crawford at short. So you put Naylor in there instead. You put Polanco in there. You put Canzone in there, and you put Gino in there, right? Maybe I already said
Completely
that. Yeah.
different lineup.
It's a totally different
already
lineup.
had Canzone, right?
But hold
he
on.
was injured. Yeah.
Canzone was in the minors. They didn't think he was good enough at the time. I saw a stat today that, you could take metrics and like say only 2 guys have done this thing, and it was like he hit like over 300, and like his power numbers, it's like Dom Canzone and Aaron Judge, whatever this combo of things. Okay, but people are like, it's embarrassing. They're insulting the fans' intelligence. The Mariners will never be anything. You can't polish a turd. It's not a baseball team. Jerry Dipoto has proven one thing. He knows jack blank about offense. Blah, blah. It was 6 games. Sorry. They don't do anything well. I mean, people, right? The point is, you can just, this is what's great about old tweets or whatever. You can just go down the list, and we probably on this podcast.
Yes, I was just about to say,
but we did not rip Dipoto.
Yeah.
Like to the level of this, right? We ripped the team, maybe like, oof, it's a subpar offense, which in a certain way it was. But in the same way, if you're going to go on X and rip, ownership or Dipoto, you have to just say they went out and did it. They went out and got the dudes they needed to get. Credit to Wilson or whoever else to get Canzone and Polanco turned around from where they were before. Like, right? The team's legit. Now they have the highest % chance to win the World Series by Fangraphs. Now they have the second highest Vegas odds to win the World Series behind the Phillies. The Phillies Mariners matchup is the lowest odds in Vegas. And it's silly. Like, because we can talk about this in a second, but I'm just so happy they're in the playoffs. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So
yeah, I mean, I haven't been that happy about the Mariners since they actually made the playoffs, and this feels different, right? In 2022, it was like, oh my god, we finally just did it. Like, we're here. We're happy to be
there. Yep.
Different, way different scenario. Now it's like we're gonna go, like we can go win this thing, and I believe it when I say it. Like with the pitching and the hitting and just the idea of depth, like you can have one guy be off one night and it doesn't destroy your entire lineup.
Totally agree with that part. Yep.
I
have some concerns I'll share when we talk about who we'd rather face. But you haven't asked me about my jersey, Kev.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
It's related.
So you're wearing a Brewers basketball jersey?
It's a Giannis Brewers jersey. Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It's got Antetokounmpo on the back. I got it when we went to Milwaukee. We watched them play the Mariners. This was the giveaway. It's awesome. It's like the JP basketball jersey night.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's why I'm wearing it. Okay. Some people know this. I don't know if you know this. Do you know where the Brewers came from?
They came from Seattle.
They were the Seattle Pilots. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me tell you this quick little story. This will be fun for people on the podcast. Seattle Pilots, 1969. They're in the AL West. They're legitimately a Major League Baseball team. Like, it's not, it's weird because we never talk about it. They got last in the division. They played in Six Stadium, which is the site of the Lowe's down on Rainier, right? It was a minor league stadium that was really well regarded, but they did not have enough money. It sounds like the Oakland Coliseum. The water would stop working in like the 8th inning during these major league games. Somehow they did not finish last in attendance out of 24 teams. They finished 20th. And like the Phillies were below them, but the teams that were below them were really, really bad. And this was a time where a lot of teams were moving around. The Kansas City A's had moved to Oakland. And so then the owner in Kansas City really wanted a team. The Mariners were supposed to get the Pilots in 1971. So they were supposed to have a stadium ready and they were supposed to be ready and they weren't ready. And then Major League Baseball was like, sorry, you get them in 1969 because we have to give Kansas City a team, the Royals. So they got them early and they weren't ready and they went bankrupt. Right. So the Pilots tried to hold on. This is the crazy part. They go bankrupt, but the governor and the senators in Washington, including Warren G. Magnuson Park, tried to fight to keep the Pilots. And so the Pilots went to spring training, and 10 days before the season, they did not know where they were going because Bud Selig entered an agreement to buy the Pilots to move him to Milwaukee. Yes, the former, right? Is he the former? Is he still alive? Is he the commissioner? No, Rob Manfred's the commissioner. He was the commissioner of baseball, right? So there's a moving trucks in Utah ready to go to Milwaukee or Seattle 10 days before the season. Finally, they're like, it doesn't work. It's not going to work. Seattle's not going to work. So they go to Milwaukee. Bud Selig wanted different colors for the team, but it was too late. That's why the Brewers are blue and yellow, because that's what the Pilot colors were. That's what the first Mariners colors were. Interesting fact. And this is a long story, but I'm sure at least someone finds it interesting. Kevin will start yawning in a second.
I'm not yawning.
Okay,
I
great.
have something to add.
Okay.
It's great.
The best part about this is because of all this, the Mariners were born. That Major League Baseball agreed to give the Mariners an expansion team later down the road in exchange for losing the Pilots. So I'm wearing the Brewers jersey. Not only are they in the playoffs, and I'd like for the Brewers to go to the World Series. That's cool. They have a great fan base, great city, stadium, everything. I like their team. But the Mariners were born out of this, and that's where we are today with the Mariners in the playoffs.
It's great. Do you know one of the rarest Seattle Pilots jerseys? I learned about this.
No, tell me.
A month or 2 months ago. Lou Piniella.
Ooh, that's good.
Lou Piniella was drafted by the Seattle Pilots in the expansion draft before their inaugural season in 1968, but was then traded, weirdly enough, to the not the Milwaukee Brewers. It was the Kansas City.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So there is a Lou Piniella Pilot. If you have one, it's pretty rare. So
here's a second rare fact for that season that I found also researching this. The 1970 Topps baseball cards were already printed. And so they all say Pilots.
They all say Pilots.
And they played as the Brewers that year. I bet those are worth something, right?
That'd be a good collector's
anyway,
item. Yeah.
Go Brewers, go Mariners.
Go Mariners.
Yeah.
So some other things. So the Mariners obviously win the AL West. I have a quick question for you. So do they just hang the AL West banner for 2024, and do they take down that wild card banner? Or do you just leave So do you like the wild card banner?
Did they put it up when they got in 2022? Did they not have it before that?
Yes.
I think you put up your wild card. It's I don't think it's bad. Postseason bursts are not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of are now, right? Like, in fairness, it's gotten a lot easier. But in 2002 and 2003, the Seattle Mariners won 93 games and didn't make the postseason. So I don't know. I think wild card bursts are legit. Like, what are you going to do if you win the World Series? Not put up the wild card berth too? I mean, I guess you'd have a World Series banner, but
I do think that it's kind of nice how it's kind of diminished, how they have like it's just the one banner with the years and it's not.
I think yes, that's perfect, right? Just put the years, don't add everything else.
Side question:
This isn't like West Seattle High School when they put up their division championship
I was just gonna ask,
things.
when you were the AD at Prep, did you have any idea of like kind of changing the rules for how banners go up?
Absolutely not. We put up
Yeah,
league titles, district titles, or regional if it's a different sport,
yeah,
and state titles. We have a state
yep.
wall for state championships. I did add, so this is maybe the equivalent. I did add a banner where you just add the year for sports for state trophies.
Yeah, we
So that's kind of
really,
the same.
if there's a mock trial, there's mock trial banners,
There's
right?
banners, baby.
There's got to be a National History Day banner, and you just put my name right there, right? No
Uh,
one's won it
you know
since
what,
then.
Kev? I'll work on that. Actually,
Get to work for the
I
history
will. I
department.
will
I'll come
work on that.
back.
I will. Yeah.
I'll come back for my ceremony.
Okay. Great.
Okay. All right. So the hot topic in all of baseball, since there's no playoff games going right now, is does Cal Raleigh win the MVP?
Mhm.
I know we're sick of it. I'm just seeing the discourse, and it's the exact same thing. It's really angry Yankee
Yeah.
fans minimizing what Cal Raleigh accomplished, and then it's kind of Mariner fans honestly minimizing what Aaron Judge accomplished. I think it's probably more nuanced. Like, you can have a catcher have the greatest catcher season of all time and have a tough time comparing that to one of the greatest offensive seasons of all time. Like, I think it's a fair thing to just think about, like, how much do you value being beat up behind the plate and adding defensive value? Not that Aaron Judge doesn't bring defensive value,
Well, I
but
don't think he does. I mean, if you look at
his
the metrics,
yeah,
right?
but his defense in right field, let's just even assume if he puts up like a higher WAR than Cal Raleigh behind the plate, like, you're comparing out, they're two different positions, right? So it's hard to do that. I think it's going to be close. I think the votes are going to be close, and I think you told me this or someone else that we don't find out till November.
It's way afterwards.
Yeah,
They have like a postseason awards thing.
banquet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where do you fall? Like, this is probably the last time we'll talk about this, unless someone comes out with an insane opinion.
I
But
mean, we might talk about it right before the
yeah,
actual thing, right? People are voting now. So yeah, they're making their vote obviously at the end of the season.
yeah,
I think Cal should win in the same reason I said before. Like, it's the narrative and the position. I think if
hmm
he got to 60 home runs, that's a magical number. Like in the American League, it's Babe Ruth, it's Aaron Judge, who's incredible. It's Roger Maris, it's Cal Raleigh. Like, what? That's silly.
and it's okay to value home runs more than like batting average, right? It's okay,
Yeah, I mean,
especially the
Aaron
total of
Judge
you
is
see.
still 50 whatever home runs and hitting
Yeah,
331. So like, I saw someone say this. There's not a right choice, but
yeah,
I think the narrative of Aaron Judge already winning it, it's not fair.
yeah,
But I think Cal will win it because of that. I think it's the same reason why Jokic stopped winning it in the NBA.
yep,
Or Giannis
yep.
before that, honestly. Like, they should have won a third straight or whatever it was. And it's just narrative. Like, Joel Embiid won an MVP in the NBA simply because they wanted to vote for somebody else. Even
To
though he
be
had an incredible year,
yeah,
as Cal did, right? You can make the argument. But
yeah,
like, Aaron Judge is he hit 330. He was the batting average leader in the American League and had 50 plus home runs. Like, it's silly. You can't
yeah,
really,
yeah.
no one's on his level.
Any other season, you'd say, yeah, run away, right? Like, Otani's going to run away with the NL MVP, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Um,
And Cal hasn't been as good defensively as he was in past years. Like,
yeah,
if you look at Baseball Savant, he's 8th in catcher in terms of fielding run value. That's not as good as, there's 7 catchers above him. So you could make the argument, is he really that valuable as a catcher? Whereas in 2024, he was 3rd,
yeah.
right?
And here's the other thing that you can't really measure. Like, Cal Raleigh won was the most important player on a Mariners, and this is the narrative part, right? Like, on a Mariners team that won its first AL West division title since 2001, right? That's one point. The other point is he is game planning with his pitchers, right?
Totally.
He is
Yeah.
shepherding this pitching staff. helping the Mariners get wins. Like Aaron Judge can't do that through no fault of his
Right.
own. And that's
There's
another thing, like you're gonna weigh, right? Or
yeah,
you may not, or you may or may not
right.
weigh, and that's gonna play a role in all of this, I
There's
think.
some incredible stats about the ERA as a one metric and how different it is when Cal's with a starter versus Garver.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's an indictment on Garver more than it's a plus for Cal, but like I don't know.
They
It's
love him.
another
Yeah,
point for Cal, right?
yeah.
It's just it would be really cool. I will not. Let's put it. I would wrap it up by saying, Kev, I will not be upset if Judge wins the MVP.
Me
It
neither.
won't piss
Me
me
neither.
off. I'm not going to angry tweet. I'm not going to
Yeah.
text anybody and say this is BS. I'll be like, that makes sense. If Cal got third, I'd have a problem. Or if Judge got third, they should be 1-2, and it should be very, very close.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Or it could be like the WNBA where they just didn't they give an award to two people this year? I forgot what it
I didn't
was.
see that.
It might have been the sixth man. They gave the sixth woman of the
Yeah.
year. They gave it to two people. Anyways,
The WNBA lost me when two things happened. One, the Storm flamed out in the playoffs, and then the playoffs have. I'm not entertained by the WNBA playoffs right now, so let's just put it that way. And I'm entertained by a lot of WNBA basketball.
yeah.
Speaking of playoffs, though, Kev.
Speaking of the playoffs, the Mariners, they had a chance at the 1 seed if they kept on winning, I think. But I don't think we really wanted the 1 seed because that would have meant the Yankees or
Red Sox.
the Red Sox in the ALDS.
Yeah.
Right. And so instead we get the Tigers and the Guardians. So just a refresher on the two before I ask my question of you. The Mariners are 4-2 against both of these teams. Against the Tigers, they had a 3-game series where they outscored them 35-14.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of runs.
That was that amazing road series. That was ridiculous.
And then the Guardians, the scores were a little more even keeled. Still, the Mariners had a 4-2 record against them. So my question for you is, who are you rooting for in that series for them to eventually play the Mariners on Saturday and Sunday?
So I think the first point you make is great. We don't want anything to do with the Red Sox or the Yankees, and that is no slight to the Tigers or Guardians. I think the Red Sox and Yankees are probably, I don't know, two of the best 5 teams in baseball. I can see that argument against the Red Sox. They have a pitcher, Lucas Giolito's out of the playoffs now. They're traded away Devers, and they've had injuries. But they're really good, and their back of their bullpen is nasty. Like Chapman's having an elite year. And the Yankees give the Mariners fits. Remember in New York, the Brian Wu game and
our
all
pitchers
that.
aren't going to pitch well at Fenway in New York, right? Like, in our hitters, as friendly as those hitters' parks are, the home teams know those parks a lot better than our dudes. So
I totally agree with you there. Here's the thing about Guardians and the Tigers. I think there's a right answer, but it's not meant to slight a fan base or an organization, right? And I'm not trying to back down on my take here. I think the answer is you'd rather play the Guardians, and the only reason is because of Tarek Skubal. Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't care that the Mariners beat Tarek Skubal twice. And I don't care that he didn't look particularly great to finish the year. He's probably winning the Cy Young in the American League. Tarek Skubal is legit, right? Like,
and that kind of neutralizes whoever he goes up against, whether it be Wu, Gilbert, or Castillo.
Yeah, just so we're all on the same page here. Tarek Skubal has a 2.21 ERA this year and 241 strikeouts and 195 innings with an ERA at a whip at 0.89. Like, the guy's sick. I would say similar things about Garrett Crochet on the Red Sox. I don't want anything to do with him. Max Fried to a certain extent in the Yankees. The Cleveland has guys who are good. Gavin Williams is pitching the first game for them. And then they're going Tanner Bybee second game. And then I think the rookie Ciaccone, or however you say his name, is the third game. All those guys, I love the matchups with Gilbert or Kirby or Wu. Like, I feel like it's even. I don't care how good the pitching is that you mentioned earlier, Kev. We're underdogs against Skubal, right?
Yeah.
And the way it lines up, he's going to pitch game 1 of this wildcard series, which is on a Tuesday. Okay. So on regular rest, He's pitching Sunday, game 2 of the ALDS, which means he could come back and pitch game 5 if it goes to it. So would you want to face Skubal twice in a 5-game series?
Absolutely not.
No way. I don't care what else is going on with the Tigers. Their bullpen is way better to hit against than Cleveland. So if you gave me scenarios like Skubal's going to pitch 1 game, maybe it's different, right? If you guarantee me the Mariners win game 1, maybe it's different, but we can't guarantee those things. So Cleveland's lineup is like, they're so pesky and annoying. Jose Ramirez is incredible. Stephen Kwan, you can't strike out. Like, I just don't want Skubal. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good differentiator. I think it helps that the Mariners have home field advantage. So, in a sense, right, it kind of amplifies the point of having Skubal, because then if he starts game 1, right, you're screwed. Well, not screwed, but even game 2.
He's pitching game 2, and it'll be in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That doesn't feel great to me.
Yeah, doesn't feel great. By the way,
if they're down 1 game to 0, it's gonna feel real bad facing Derek Skubal, right? Like, that's gonna suck.
Got to shout out one of my friends, David, because he was looking at ALDS tickets when they first got put out there last week, and he just thought, you know what? It's more cost efficient for me to buy a suite to the ALDS and sell the tickets, right? Because everyone wants to go. The only catch here is you have to put down a deposit for a suite at some game next season.
Oh, okay.
So you can. So
that's not terrible.
So he has a random game for next year, and he's going to have to find 20 people to go to a game with him and pay the suite price or whatever.
This is not a bad idea.
I thought it was a great idea, right? You just have to have the cash to bankroll it, and then know 20 people that will pay. He found the 20 people easily, right? Filled the suite up with his friends.
How much? I won't ask how much the suite was. That's not fair to him. How much did he charge people to go?
I think it's going to be around 300.
300 to be in a suite is not bad. Yeah. Actually, I think the tickets I got are like
300, right?
Yeah, 220 or something. So, yeah, I don't know. I just started clicking on games with my pre-sale. I just started clicking games left and right, so I don't even know what I thought it was.
I mean, the secondary market, it's ridiculous right now.
It's crazy.
Yeah, good for the Mariners.
So I have tickets to all 3 division games if need be. I'm a little worried about game times because I have some work stuff on Saturday that is kind of unavoidable, but I already told Dana, I'm like, you can go with the kids and somebody else can go if I absolutely can't go.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, because this is kind of on top of mind a lot of people, I think the games are going to be at 6 p.m. or 5:50.
So, yeah, this goes into our next topic because the Sounders host Portland, which is not like a kind of run-of-the-mill type of Sounders game. This is a rivalry game. The Sounders are good this season. And there's people coming up from Portland. That game's at 7:30.
Yep. On Saturday.
Saturday, right? So that's game 1.
Yep.
Game time not set for the ALDS, right?
And then Sunday, the Seahawks play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an amazing jersey game where they're both wearing the throwback jerseys.
That game is at 1:00. That's getting a little more press because the Seahawks are, it's going to be, there's a more likely conflict there just in terms of the amount of people. And the Seahawks have come out and said the game time kind of depending on when it is, if it lands around 1:00, which is when the Seahawks start, then the Seahawks are willing to move 90 to 150 minutes.
Yeah, it's not, and to be clear, and I'm not criticizing you, it's not the Seahawks, it's the NFL who said they would do this. So, I've forgotten about this, but it came back to me when people started talking about it in in 2022, if the Mariners had won Game 3 on Saturday at home, they would have played Game 4 on Sunday, and the Seahawks were at home, and they were ready to start the game at 2:30 that day. So they were just going to push it back 90 minutes. It would have overlap, but it allows that not everyone's going in. I mean, for those not in Seattle, which I don't know who would be listening to this who's not in Seattle, those stadiums are closer than any two stadiums probably in all of
it doesn't
sports,
matter.
right?
Okay, so here's the issue.
What?
And this is okay.
You just got so excited. What?
No.
What are you talking
because
about?
I had quite the experience this past weekend.
Okay.
And this is baby steps compared to what's going to happen on mass transit for these 2 weekends. So, leaving the Washington Huskies game. Okay. The game ended around 4:00, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First off, we come out of the stadium. Everyone was leaving early because the game was in hand, 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You walk out of the stadium, UW station, lines are wrapped across like Montlake Boulevard. It would take at least half an hour to an hour just to get to the bottom of the station and to get onto the train.
Yes.
My genius brother-in-law says, let's just walk up. Let's walk up a stop up.
Totally.
Up to the University District station. That way we'll get a seat and, we'll avoid this traffic. We'll get a nice little workout after tailgating and watching the Huskies lose. Can vent on our walk there. So we make it up there, get on the light rail. Of course, we get on the light rail, and the thing is like 75% full of Mariners fans going to the Dodgers games and Dodger fans, wearing
so
their
many
Otani
Dodgers
stuff.
fans. Yep.
So we get to the Husky Stadium stop. There's no room on the train. Like 5 people come on, and the thing is already like you're already packed. And I'm just thinking, well, I'm thanking my brother-in-law for making us do that. But the same thing is going to happen both of these days on a much bigger level. Like there would just be people coming in at the same time.
Yeah. What is your revolutionary thought here?
I think I just can't fathom a Mariners playoff game and a Seahawks game near at the same time. And I don't know if they'll end at the same time, but like it's insane. Like it's already insane if it's just one of those.
It'll be totally
things.
insane. Yeah.
Like
we haven't had this level of insanity, but there have been games side by side before. Like it's not the first time.
Okay.
And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, the trains just have
I
to
also
have
faster. Zero stress because I live in West Seattle and I park really, really far away from the stadium, right by the West Seattle Bridge.
And then
Lime scooter to the stadium.
Yeah.
And then I can walk back. It's fine. It's after the game.
Yeah.
We literally are one street onto the West Seattle Bridge and I'm home. So I don't have to deal with the same stress everybody else does.
Oh my gosh.
So now this will be pushing it, right? There may not even be parking spots because when I went to the playoff game before on a Saturday, there wasn't Seahawks and I parked as far away as I've ever parked. And there's a couple spots. I will not say them on the podcast because I want to have the spots. There's a couple spots in places that people don't park that are free that are very, very far. They're basically at the West Seattle Bridge. So you're a mile and a half away from the stadiums.
Yeah.
And I used to walk it. Now Lime scooter, although Lime scooters are probably be in high demand.
Yeah.
And they'll probably surge price them to craziness. But
do you remember this? This was and I posted this on X and some people remembered this. When the Sonics were considering when Chris Hansen's ownership group is more accurate, was considering building the arena, they faced a lot of opposition from the Mariners organization because of this scenario, and by the way, it's only September 29th. NBA preseason maybe starts second week of October, about this situation where you'd have all 3 major professional sports with scheduling conflicts. And I, in my head, I was thinking, and I think everyone else was thinking, well, hell, if the Mariners make the playoffs, that would be the greatest problem to have at the same time as the Seahawks playing in the Sonics, right? Like, that's a great problem to have because the Mariners are never going to be good, right? And they weren't good for like another 10 to 15 years after that whole thing with Chris Hansen happened. And so, even if there's traffic or things are weird, like, great. This is a great problem to have. People will figure it out. Seattle's a major city. The officials will figure it out and make it a decent experience for everyone. So looking forward to it.
I think it'll be interesting. So my theory was both games will be in the evening. I think you could start at 6 p.m. and have the Sounders at 7:30. As long as they're staggered, it would be fine. The Seahawks, it would be a little chaotic, obviously, because Seahawks people don't leave right away. So there'd be like nowhere to park for the Mariners game later. That'd be bad if they were at 1 and 6. But part of my reasoning was if you go to the MLB website, they would list the games in a row. And so they had the wild card games with the times, right? And the last time is the Reds at Dodgers, right? And it's not in any particular order. It doesn't go by seed. It just goes by game times. Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. The following divisional rounds were also in an order, but without times. And the Mariners were last on those. And the Mariners are not like the number one. It didn't go in a seed order. So I was kind of like, well, they're just prepping it. But now, just tonight, Kev, I just went back to double check. And on Saturday the 4th, they have the Mariner game listed second, not last. Whereas for game 4, the Mariners are listed last. Game 3, they're listed last. So they changed the order, and it feels like they're getting ready to put them in the order of the time, which makes me think the Sunday night, it will be a night game. It'll be like 6 o'clock.
And it won't conflict with the Seahawks.
And I think Saturday is going to be like a 1 p.m.
And it won't conflict with the Sounders.
Yep.
And so people can pull off double headers.
Yep. And my 1
I
p.m.
knew people that were going from Huskies to the Dodgers game.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yep.
I couldn't do it.
Yep. That 1 p.m. start might be problematic for me, but you know what? Nobody's worried about my personal issues.
Yeah.
So we'll work it out.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I mean, I saw like the Marine Layer podcast talking about, the Mariners would probably be at 1 because it's going to probably be the Dodgers and Phillies, and you'd want that at night.
Yeah.
But also it's in Philadelphia. So like they're going to start a game at 8:30 Eastern. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, sure, people will be up. It's a Saturday. And you get the Dodgers market because it's West Coast. But it feels like because Seattle's the only West Coast home team, they would put them last. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people care. I don't know if people care this much.
I think people think about this though.
I certainly do. I've been thinking about it non-stop.
Yeah.
What
this
time
is
they're
why
gonna
we
play.
talk to each other on a weekly basis. These are important issues.
They
we need to discuss.
I need to discuss something else with you, Kev, because I think it's important to you. We certainly know. And it's we got to get into some of your takeaways from going to the Washington Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want substance or do you want the non-substantive stuff first?
Let's go non first, then let's get into the football.
Okay. So the non-substance stuff. It was really the Mariners. Sorry, got to bring them up again. They are superstars in this town. So before the game, kind of like how they do raise the 12th man flag for the Seahawks games. The Huskies do this new thing that they started maybe a year or 2 years ago where you sound the siren and they have a special guest do it. So the special guests were Brian Wu, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, and the fourth person I will not name. Well, no one knew who he was. And when all of this was happening, sorry, Emerson Hancock.
That's sad.
But I didn't know who he was, and it was so loud in that stadium when they announced who it was, like you couldn't hear. Like you could just see, like, okay, when you see Julio's close up, like you cheer really loud. When you see Cal, cheer really hard. When you see Brian Wu, cheer really hard. When you see this guy, yay.
Wow.
Sorry, Emerson Hancock. By the way, the GM is Ohio State guy, Justin Hollander.
Yes.
So he was there. But anyways, the crowd went wild. Like it was just so the Huskies were so great to get them even on a game day.
Yeah.
Caroline,
there's no way they do that if the game mattered that night.
Yeah. Caroline, my sister, had a hookup, and so she was in the same area as the Mariners after they sounded the siren. So she got VIP treatment. So did the Mariners, and she, they were there at the game for maybe the first quarter, and she said they were nice. They were taking pictures and stuff. So that's my first takeaway is like it was pretty awesome to be a Seattle sports fan and just see those two things converge like a huge game, and then the Seattle Mariners being celebrated by a raucous crowd.
Let me make a quick connection because I think it'll segue a little bit. The playoff crowd is going to be awesome at the Mariners game.
Yes.
To that point, like it's going to be so loud. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and I think there'll probably be less Tiger and Guardian fans than there would have been like Yankees and Boston.
Totally.
Because Yankees and Boston, that's like a national brand, much like Ohio State's a national brand where there's people living in Seattle that root for these teams. I'd be hard pressed to find a hardcore, well, there probably are, but like Guardians and Tigers fans, there's not as many in Seattle.
Yeah, there'll be a little segment, right? But it won't be crazy. It won't be crazy.
Yeah, it won't be like the what I saw at Huskies Stadium where there was a lot of red, and you could see it clearly. I was looking at pictures after the telecast, like it was clear as day. There were a lot of people, and there was some griping amongst Husky fans that where we sit. So I'm in the Tyee section where the big donors sit or the season ticket holders sit. There were people in red. So it wasn't just the secondary market, which is mostly up high. They were close to the field, and they weren't just limited to the visitor section.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I actually have a very positive view of it. And here's why. In the Pac-12, and this is the only positive I think of the Huskies moving, besides of like the fact that we had to move from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. There are national brands in the Big Ten, more so than what we had at in the Pac-12.
Totally.
There are no hardcore UCLA fans traveling, right?
There are no UCLA fans, Kev, for football.
Yeah, sorry, that was a horrible example.
Yeah, that's okay.
The closest you could kind of get was probably USC in its heyday, but even USC did not travel as good as what I saw here with Ohio State or what we see with Oregon, right? And that's kind of because Oregon's, I hate to say it, but Oregon's a national brand. Like their fans travel. Totally. Husky fans travel with their team, right? And you don't like Arizona State, Wazoo, Oregon State. Like, sorry, it's not Ohio State.
There'd be like the alumni.
Michigan.
Yeah, they'd be alumni group for Arizona State or for Utah, but it was not.
It's not Ohio State. It's not Michigan. It's not Penn State. So you kind of just like amplified this where you're going to have the Oregon game every year, and you're going to get at least one of the marquee games against Penn State, Michigan, or Ohio State. And that's awesome. It's awesome to experience that. It's awesome for the national pundits to be talking about, the Huskies, can they upset Ohio State like all week long? Like no one talked about, like, we maybe got as much of that talk during like the Oregon game or when some random Pac-12 team was in the top 10, but not to the same level and scrutiny as an Ohio State game. So that's my positive takeaway. I'm like, welcome, like, come enjoy Husky Stadium. Like,
I heard the fans were pretty nice.
They were, except maybe the dude on Barstool that just running his mouth.
That I just sent you the tweets to troll you.
Made me so angry.
He's like, it's maybe so quiet.
He's right.
It's so quiet. Maybe he's right, Kev. Maybe he's right that it was really quiet in there, and you were so mad. You never curse at me, and you dropped an F-bomb back in your text to me. You're like, it was so loud, my ears hurt. Is that really true now that you've reflected on it? Was it that loud?
It was loud. Like, it's awesome because you're standing the entire game.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. You weren't standing the entire game. Nobody stood in the fourth
quarter. I was sitting down.
Nobody stood in the fourth quarter. I bet you weren't even there in the fourth quarter, were you?
I told you I left early with 5 minutes ago.
I missed that. Sorry.
But I was also sitting down for the 3-minute TV timeout, which was nice, right? We have great seats. We're on the aisle, so we just pop out, go to the bathroom, get some Dippin' Dots,
Dippin' Dots.
and then get back into it. Get ready to yell on second down.
By the
That's
way,
what's great.
Worst stadium concessions in the city have got to be at Husky Stadium.
You know what? As long as they have beer and Dippin' Dots, I'm a happy guy.
All right. Low standards. Sounds good.
Ivers, they have the worst of what the Mariners have, right?
Yeah. It's never, I've never been excited to get food at Husky Stadium. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. So substance wise, is that okay if we go to this?
Yeah. Let's go to the substance.
So I was skeptical the Huskies could hang in this game, as we talked about last week.
Yeah.
In terms of, I think I was right and I was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think I was right in terms of 8.5. I wasn't worried about Ohio State covering like that. That happened. I thought Ohio State would overpower the Huskies. I think that ultimately happened. They wore them down.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State plays at a different level than the Huskies. That was my point. And I think as good as Damon, Jonah, and Denzel Boston are, Softy had a great tweet about it. If you think they're the best trio in the Big Ten, they have to
have to play.
They have to play like that.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And he is like he literally has a show called Husky Honks, and he's like, I don't know if they are the best trio in the Big Ten. He was pretty honest about it. So I think Ohio State's talent was better. I do think the Huskies hung around better than I thought they would. Right?
Yeah.
Like there's a case to be made. I think it's a stretch, but the terrible, terrible, terrible call by the ref on the roughing the passer is awful. Every national media member said it was awful. Turns that whole drive around and maybe it flips the game. The counter to that is like the Huskies weren't really.
They got to the red zone 2 other times and didn't score a touchdown. They just
can't score, but they weren't going to. It never felt like they were going to. To me, I'm like, they're not going to score a touchdown. Like it just didn't feel like it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You asked me last week, find 4 losses on their schedule. Does that change for you?
I think my similar question too, and this doesn't answer your question because I'm answering your question with a question, but
Socrates.
Does anything change here? Right? Does my opinion of the Huskies change?
Sure. Same question. Yeah.
No, I think it just like solidifies what I feel about this team is that just juxtapose this loss to the number 1 team in the country to their road losses to Penn State and Oregon last year, where those teams were clearly on another level, right? And if this was the number 1 team and you were only down 7-3 at the half, right? And at different times you felt in control and you felt that the offense could move the ball. Granted, it stalled out, and we saw that a lot last year. And I think Fish made a great point at his press conference. There's a difference between being discouraged and disappointed. And I think here we were just more in the disappointment bucket and less in the discouraged bucket. Like you can learn this game was early in the season. It doesn't do anything like kill your season. And I don't think like after watching that game, like if you were another team, like you're like, oh, the Huskies are just super vulnerable. Like they game plan to get. I think this is what's happened is now every team has a blueprint on how to beat DeMond Williams. Yeah. But I don't know how many teams can do it the way Ohio State did, right? They just have superior speed. Like they were running them down. Like Williams was dealing with like linebackers that could run with him and tackle him. Right? I think that was kind of some of the difference.
Maybe. I would push back and say there's 2 things with DeMond, and Fish has said this. He has to throw the ball away. He takes too many sacks.
Yep.
My counter, I don't even know if it's a counter, or DeMond, you're super fast. I would like you to take off earlier. And I know they don't want him to do that. That's not what NFL quarterbacks do. That ruins your downfield passing game.
Yeah.
But in a game like Ohio State, I wanted to see him go more, like go earlier and go. And you're right. They did have a spy. They had a linebacker who's super athletic, but DeMond didn't really try to go. Like, think of Russ early in his Seahawks career when he would just tuck it and go, and he would just kill defenses. We've talked about this on this podcast. Like a scrambling quarterback is the most frustrating thing
Yeah,
to
and it's
watch when you're
almost
the
like
opposing team, right?
yeah, and it's the whole idea is that when you do that, it opens up your pass game, right?
Totally.
Because you so it's kind of like the opposite here where in the season during the 3 games prior to this, it was all right, bombed Denzel Boston, like hitting, just keep on killing him with 10 to 15-yard passes, right? And it was opening up lanes for him. It was opening up lanes for Jonah. And I think it's a little different here, right? It was a little different against Ohio
Yeah,
State.
I think it comes down to his decision making, right? So he doesn't know when to tuck it and go. He doesn't know when to let it go early. And this is not a critique of like him reading the defense, because if you watch him, he gets to second and third reads,
Yeah.
and he's got good footwork as far as I can tell. I'm not a quarterback guru by any means.
Yeah.
Like, he looks the part. He just looks young and doesn't know. Okay, this would be my example, right? I'm sure there's routes where the first read's not there. He knows second read's not there. You don't have time to get to your third read because you feel something, like just go then, something like that. Just tuck it and
Yeah.
go and get 12 yards. Like John Mateer did that in the Apple Cup last year. That's what made John
Yeah.
Mateer so good. I feel
Yeah.
like, Locker was nowhere near the ceiling I think Damon Williams could be, ironically, as like a top 10 pick. But
Yeah.
Locker would just tuck it and go at certain times, and it was so dangerous. I think Damon, especially against Ohio State, like I don't really want him to do that against Maryland, because I want to see him like just be confident in the pocket and throw where he needs to throw.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of interesting because you kind of compare that, and I think it's just the Huskies are relying on Demond much more than Ohio State needs to rely on their quarterback, who is just it was death by a thousand
Yeah.
cuts, right? Like just throwing 7-yard, 8-yard passes, right?
To the
And
best
clearing,
receiver in the country. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and a couple of those broke, right? One broke for a touchdown, right? But and I think this is a good transition to the defensive side of the things, but Husky defense was pretty decent. I mean, until the game broke open, but they didn't give up explosives, right? It didn't feel like it, credit to the Ohio State offense, kind of just like stayed patient, like
My
and just
God.
played
So
within.
boringly patient.
It
Both.
was just like 8-yard passes, and the Huskies got forced some third downs and just sucked at you know keeping them from converting those. And I put that in the keys of the game. Like, are you going to be able to get the ball back? Are
Yeah.
you going to make them punt it? Right.
I mean, one of my takeaways is Ohio State's so boring. Like, it was
Yeah.
such a boring, like, I wouldn't call
Yeah.
myself a neutral fan, right? But if you were a neutral fan, I think the game is super boring.
It
Both
was.
teams were just constantly getting to third downs, and it's almost like I texted a friend like 1980s football, and he's like, "Yeah, that's why I love it." Because in
Yeah.
the 80s, it would be like no downfield passing. It was all just rushing off tackle, and then you throw to your number one receiver a little out, and then you just move the sticks. I'm sure it's like great for coaches to watch, football coaches or something. It's boring
It's
compared
really, really
to watching
boring.
Michael Penix and whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, I still see there's 4 losses. Obviously, I think road games are tough, right? They've finally won the Apple Cup, but going to a different time zone, like for
this
example, traveling to Maryland, it's going to be
it's a
tough.
it's a big week.
It's not necessarily an easy win, and um, Maryland has the benefit of looking at that Ohio State game and saying like, oh yeah, this guy can be stopped. Like this offense is not as good, right? They can build off of that, and hopefully by the same token, for the Huskies' sake, they can be like, we're down 7-3 to Ohio State, at the half, right? We're a good football team.
Yeah, I think Husky fans should be nervous. East Coast, fish on the road, not great.
Yeah, they haven't won.
Um,
They haven't won in the other time
and
zone.
Maryland went and won at Wisconsin by 17 that last week. They're 4-0.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a big game. It's a big game, right?
it'll be a good game.
If the
It'll be a
Huskies
good
are going to
game.
be the version that you have said you think they can be, you hope they can be, less than 4 or less losses on that schedule, they got to win this game.
Yeah, so it's the difference between an 8-win team and an 8 and 9-win team, or a 7-win team, right?
Or a 6-6 team.
Six,
But just going back to where you were last year.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So a team that's on the rise, though, Kev, is the team that I told you would be on the rise this year. Not to toot my own horn here, but the Seattle Seahawks. Now, in fairness, I was completely despondent after week 1 and had almost given up all hope. But they're 3-1. They went and beat the Cardinals. It was a long time ago now. It was on Thursday Night Football. They dominated the game and then had a terrible 8 minutes at the end. And then had a great 45 seconds. And Jason Myers smelling salts, bang, into the field goal to win it.
Great confidence.
Yeah, the question,
especially after missing the earlier kick.
Myers is awesome. Let's just go short with the Seahawks because it was a big week for everything else. Are they for real? Like, are they an NFC contender?
I mean, they're tied for first with everyone else.
Well, yes, I know that, but like,
but the 49ers are hobbled up, right? Like, everyone's beatable, and the Seahawks defense it's a great defense. Keeps them in games.
That is
and Darnold,
incredible analysis from you.
Well, Darnold is still like one of the highest rated quarterbacks in the league.
I think the Seahawks are still being slept on. They're in an incredibly tough division. I don't actually think the Cardinals are that good. I think the Seahawks went down there and showed that and then had a bad 8 minutes or so, right? The Seahawks were absolutely dominating that game. 6 sacks, like just they were Kyler looked average, interceptions, all that stuff. The Rams and the Niners are going to be tough. Obviously, the Seahawks already played the 49ers once. The Rams are really good. The Eagles are really good. The Lions are really good. I think the Packers are still good, even though they had a weird game last night. The NFC is tough. The Bucks are good, and that's who the Seahawks play this week. But the Seahawks are being slept on because they're not being discussed with the Packers and the Lions and the Rams and the Eagles. And I'm going to tell you something. By Pro Football Focus, the Seahawks are the second overall team in the league by rating. Okay? Pro Football Focus offense, second overall. Defense, 9th overall. So even though you and many others say the defense is awesome, which they are, the offense by these Raiders is even better. To your point, Sam Darnold. I'm going to give you one more metric. I'm just going to keep building the case. You ready? Okay, this is a weird one. I've never seen this before, but I saw it on Twitter. So there's something called NFL any/A value. Okay. So the any/A basically has to do with like the value of passing yards, taking out sacks, plus touchdowns, minus intercept, right? It's an algorithm. The Seahawks are the number 1 team in the NFL if you combine their offense and their defense by this value. Okay. So whether you take Pro Football Focus or this other guy's metric or whoever's metric, they're at the top of the NFL and nobody's talking about them like they're at the top of the NFL.
And we're almost a fourth way through the season, right?
Yeah. So the Bucks, who are also were 4-0, I think they won last week, right? And the Seahawks are 3-1. This is your chance. I mean, it's a 1:00 game when there's baseball playoffs happening in the city, but this is a big chance for the Seahawks to make a statement and to show they belong. And Geno Smith looks terrible. So let's go and Sam Darnold.
Let's go Sam Darnold.
That's what I got for you.
Let's move to the top 5.
Let's do top 5.
All right. I got a question for you. This is
great.
Playoff themed.
I'm ready.
Top 5 hits in the playoffs in Seattle Mariners playoff history.
Oh, like number of hits.
Number of hits.
Okay. Is everybody fully prepared listening to this for me to suck again? As always. Edgar Martinez.
Edgar Martinez, number 1, 34 hits, 8 home runs, 24 RBIs, 19 walks, 15 extra base hits.
Insane. Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr., number 3, only 18 hits compared to Edgar's 34. But 6 home runs, 11 RBIs.
Jay Buhner.
Jay Buhner, number 2.
He had great playoff performances.
Yeah. 26 hits, 8 home runs as much as Edgar, 12 RBIs. Yeah.
Ooh.
Got two
Okay.
more.
So this is where it gets interesting. A-Rod.
A-Rod number 4.
So the reason
Eight.
is A-Rod, you got to think about it, he's on the 97 team. He's on the 95 team, but he probably didn't get hit. He's on 97 and 2000, and they only have 4 playoff. Well, if you count 2022, but I don't think anyone's going to be on there from
18 hits, so tied with Griffey. Also 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. Pretty solid.
Okay, this is where it gets hard. Is 5 hard?
5 is very hard.
I'm going to talk through my thoughts, but I'm not going to say who it is. Okay? So, Joey Cora is on the list for me because Joey Cora, I think, was the second baseman in 95 and 97. Mike Blowers is also on the list for me. And then it could be like, no, I don't think Olerud is very good in the playoffs. Ichiro, no. Maybe, but that would be one playoff, so that seems like a no.
Can I stop you? You've said the person's name.
Well, okay.
Do you want another hint?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so this person, you named
I named 4 people, I think.
You named 4 people. He was on the same team. This is not helpful.
Okay.
This is not helpful.
No, just give it to me. Give me the hint.
As 2 of those people.
Oh, okay. So that eliminates Ichiro.
There you go. So, yep, you're right. Ichiro's actually number 6.
Ooh. So we're Olerud, Cora, or Blowers. Give me Mike Blowers.
No.
Okay. So now
Blowers is actually, he's actually pretty low. He's only had 8 hits.
All right. So it's Cora or Olerud. I either get a strike or I get it.
This is 50% shot here.
Joey Cora was my initial guess.
No, it was Olerud. It was Olerud at 17.
Brutal.
Where's
Olerud? Where's Cora on the list?
Cora's actually number 8 with 13. And then above him, tied with Ichiro, was David Bell at 16 hits.
Okay, so the only one I missed out of the top 9 was David Bell, which I never would have gotten.
Yeah.
That's all right. Good. I feel good about my performance.
That was pretty good. That was really good.
Better than normal.
If we had top 4, you'd win all the time.
Jesus. All right.
That's too easy.
In 2022, Kev, the Mariners famously broke their playoff drought.
Yes.
Obviously, they had the biggest drought in all of sports, not just baseball. Just 2 years later, the Mariners have gone back to the playoffs. And I've seen some funny things where people say, my 4-year-old only knows the playoffs, right? Like 2 out of the 4 years.
Julio. Wait, isn't it 3 years later? 23, 24.
It's
25.
second in 4 years.
So 3. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yep.
Understood.
Okay. What I want is the 5 biggest droughts in Major League Baseball now. Which teams have the longest active playoff droughts? Not your Seattle Mariners, obviously.
Yeah. The Pirates.
Number 2, 10 years. Which, don't you think there's people listening who are like, the Pirates went to the playoffs 10 years ago?
10 years ago?
They did. They had this like Andrew McCutchen year.
Yeah.
Even though he's still there. Yeah.
The Athletics.
Yes, number 5. Actually, only 5 years.
The White Sox.
That is strike 1. They are tied for 6. It was only 4 years ago the White Sox went to the playoffs.
They're so bad.
So they went to the playoffs. I remember this with this like young core group who now has like all been traded away or released, and they were like, "This is the start of something." It's so sad.
God, so I'm already.
So you need 3 more, and you have 1 strike.
Okay, I'm gonna do the talking it through thing. I want to say the Rockies. I want to say the Brewers.
Don't say the Brewers. What's wrong with you? We just talked about this. I'm wearing the jersey. The Brewers have the best record in baseball.
Okay. Sorry. I was thinking recent history, not just this.
Well, the Brewers have gone to the playoffs like 8 years in a row, by the way.
Okay, I'm just gonna say the Rockies.
Very good. They're third. They're 7 years.
Okay, so I have 3. I need 2 more. Man, this is tough.
You don't have the worst drought, and you don't have the 4th worst drought.
Okay, so I'm at the AL East. I'm going to avoid the Phillies. I'm going to avoid the Mets.
That's the NL East, by the way. You said AL East.
The Marlins.
Nope. Marlins 2 years ago went to the playoffs. Isn't that wild?
God, no one remembers who makes the playoffs unless they're your team.
Well, these ones will not surprise you. Actually, one might. The Washington Nationals 6 years ago when they won the World Series with Victor Robles. They're number 4, but the worst drought in all of baseball also will not surprise you. It is your Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. 11 years.
Dang, that was so easy.
11 years because they never went to the playoffs when they had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani at the same time.
Yes.
And poor Mike Trout.
Yeah.
11 years, even though, and now he's, let's be honest, Mike Trout's not very good anymore. I mean, he's like, his worst year is hitting 23 home runs. But Mike Trout went to the playoffs. Let's see. Let's see if I can find his playoff stats.
Julio's been to the playoffs more than him.
Do you think he has more at bats in the playoffs than Mike Trout?
Julio?
Yeah, look up Julio playoff.
Yes.
Well, we said this last time. What, 23?
Yeah, Julio played 2 series. Yeah.
Has Mike Trout only played 1 series?
He's played 23.
Mike Trout has played in 3 games in the playoffs in his career. They went 1 time. And he has won. He's 1 for 12 with a home run. I'm saying this very softly because it's so sad. I'm sad. That makes me sad for Mike Trout.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm not sad about, Kev?
The Mariners being in the freaking playoffs.
Being at playoff games next weekend before we podcast, good or bad, the atmosphere is going to be electric. It's going to be incredible. Dude, hopefully we're talking about
ice cream nachos, man. Come on.
By the way, ice cream nachos, slightly disappointing this last weekend.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about that at a different time. I'm not getting in line for ice cream nachos. I will not be leaving my seat during the playoff game. And in fact, I will be pissed at all the people who do leave their seats.
Are you getting playoff gear? Do you see my playoff hat? Are you going to get an ALS Divisions champ shirt?
That's what I kind of want.
Those age well.
I know, exactly.
Just like, it just takes up the whole shirt.
I want one with like old school graphics on it, though.
Yeah.
I want to go retro on it, you know? If they go to the World Series, I'm certainly buying something with World Series stuff on it. But we can talk about that a different week. My hope is next week we're talking about the Mariners being up 2-0 in their playoff series, heading to Cleveland or Detroit. If not, we'll talk about it together, Kev, as always.
Yeah. As always, thanks for joining us. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. See you next week. How was that plug?
That was great. A little soft outro. Wherever you see your podcasts. See you next week.
All right. See you next week.